Hi everyone, welcome to the Heart of Illumination. I'm Joseph. Today we'll focus on channel messages and see what comes through. In a light pre-channeling before this recording, some of the three key themes that came to me were New Year's resolution, perfectionism, and relationships. And then I'll allow other themes to come through if they do come through. So in terms of New Year's resolution, I made a video earlier on the channel, maybe a couple days ago. Feel free to look at that channel, or feel free to look at that message. But in terms of New Year's resolution, today is January 9th, right? A little bit more than a week. And for some of you that landed on this video, and if you are beginning to experience or have thoughts, self-criticizing thoughts, beating yourself up about maybe not following through with your New Year's resolutions or goals or other plans that you might have had, let this be the moment to be gentle on yourself. Practice self-compassion, self-kindness, self-acceptance. And so, yes, a lot of these key ideas and concepts are thrown around. Yet, how do we practice each of these things, right? So, bye-bye. Got some nice people walking their dogs and just being in happy spirit. So maybe that message is for some people, where just go out, walk your pet, and use that as a meditation, right? Use that as an opportunity to be in nature, to just smile at someone for no reason, to smile at your dog, to have fun with your dog, and let go of the things that are on your mind temporarily. And those are kind of the easy ways for us to give ourselves space, for us to practice self-kindness, self-love, self-acceptance, self-compassion. So those are more, I guess, unconscious way to do it. When we have our pets and they come to us with some genuine love and kind of the innocence, right? Not expecting anything, but they just want to show us love. Dogs or cats, or I don't know, maybe some of you have hamsters or rabbits, right? They just want to show you love. Or maybe they need some cuddling from you. But yet in that moment, it's for them to give you something that you need, and for you to receive something as well as give them something that you need. So we always have these moments of very gentle invite, really subtle invite to practice these. And then when I deliberately, explicitly call it out, right, there are more conscious ways that we practice it. And so we bring what is in our subconscious, unconscious, to our conscious, so it comes full circle, right? And then as we practice it consciously, it becomes subconscious again, but in an integrated aspect. We can talk about it in another video, but there's a whole cycle of different quadrants of conscious competence, subconscious competence, stuff like that. We can cover another time. But the main point is, whatever New Year's resolution that you feel you didn't live up to, be gentle on yourself. And maybe for some of you, the message is, maybe you did 80%, 70 to 80%. And maybe the practice for you is stop looking for perfection, right? So if you wrote down you're gonna hit the gym at 6 a.m. and drinking 3 protein shakes for the past 7 days, and you missed one protein shake, one of the days you showed up at 7 instead of 6, and I don't know, even one day you missed it and then you made up the session by going at night, right? So let's say that's 70%. Yet, that's progress if before you made the resolution, or before you had this clarity of, I'm gonna do this, you had 0, or you were even more all over the place in terms of going to the gym or drinking the smoothie or waking up in the morning, right? So that's just an example. Each person can have a different example. But whatever your resolution is, change it to a New Year alignment and allow that alignment to gradually become aligned, right? So a good analogy, and a lot of people use this, and I want to use it in this moment, is many of us has experienced the miracle of flight travel, right? Where we can just hop on a plane somewhere that's thousands of miles, we can get there in 6 hours, versus in the past it would have been a 2-day road trip. Or further past, it would have been months on a horse-drawn carriage or wagon. Anyway, so in our modern time, sometimes I do lose train of thought when things are coming through, so please bear with me. In terms of the New Year's resolution, it's not about doing it perfect. So be gentle, and if you want a little practice, it's very simple, not a ritual. You can turn it into a ritual if you want, but a lot of things are very simple. Just close your eyes, hand on a heart, hand on whichever spot that nags you when you experience these wobbles, especially when you think of missing out on your New Year's resolution or not being perfect. Just wherever, maybe in your solar plexus, maybe that's where your power center, and just be in stillness. Focus on your breath. Be in stillness. You don't have to have an affirmation. We can eventually advance to that, but just take breaths. Just take breaths. And there is no perfect breathing, right? So if you can just breathe a couple times and then use those 3 breaths and reflect on, did you do those breathing perfectly? Was there a way to breathe perfectly? Did I give any instruction to do it perfectly? No. All I said was maybe put hands on spot that troubles you, especially when you think of these things, and then breathe 3 times. I didn't say have to be deeply. It just breathe 3 times, right? So if you can reflect on that moment of doing something simple, as well as become aware of these thoughts and maybe tendency of you or myself having these thoughts of, did I breathe correctly? Did I put my hands on the right place? Should it be a deeper breath? Should I have breathed more times? Should I have slower breaths, right? Breaths. So that's an aspect of us that want to be perfect. But for this exercise and for this little mini practice, there was no perfection. There was no requirement to be perfect. And so this micro lesson can be reflected back out to the macro lesson of life, right? It doesn't matter what society and teachers and all these other things have told you. If you're practicing something new, let go of the perfectionism. Yes, maybe when you've studied and done something for many years, and you're on the path of mastery, then you can start aiming for perfection, and you might experience a couple moments of perfection or transcendence of creating a masterpiece, but don't expect that. But by that time, hopefully you've developed the inner skill of not expecting it, but just being on the path of mastery that you enjoy. And then if some miracle happens, hey, it came through you. You contributed to it. A part of it was from the divine, and everything works out. So that's a much deeper discussion. But overall, in general, we're just practicing. We don't have to be perfect. It's okay. So we cover New Year's resolution and how it ties into some of us that landed on this video that has been dealing with kind of the dilemma of perfection. And right now the tools that we're using to ease up on the perfection is to practice both subtly and consciously self-acceptance, self-kindness, being kind to ourselves in words and feelings, in how we set up expectations for ourselves, and then in self-compassion. So if we have experienced, if you've experienced compassion from another person, or you had moments where you were able to be compassionate with others, that's how you would practice it with yourself. It's a much deeper topic. I'll make a separate, it'll be a series of video about compassion and self-compassion as a whole, but we'll touch on that little topic for now. And then the last thing was relationship. So we can probably tie it back into the theme of New Year's resolution and maybe perfectionism and relationships. So some of you that landed on this video might also apply your tendency of perfectionism, and maybe even set a New Year's resolution or goals of cultivating better relationship with others, maybe a significant partner, maybe close friends and family. And for this specific thing, yes, I want to please leverage what I just shared about the tools to start softening our perfectionism. And perfectionism ties in with expectations. So when we have an aspect of being perfect with everything, that usually means we have expectations of perfectionism. And those expectations are sometimes unrealistic if the aim is to be perfect. So, and then if we tie it in with relationships, where it's a little messy, right? Usually a lot of emotions are involved, and there's a lot of things that you personally cannot control. I can't control my relationship, right? I can't control what my sister does, what my mom does, what my dad does, right? And how much they've learned about themselves and how they choose to relate with others. I can only learn about myself, have awareness about my own personality, my own true nature, what I've been conditioned by what I've learned throughout my life, and then my pattern of relating to people and relating with myself and the various aspects of myself. So I can only be aware of those things and in a way control them. And I prefer not to use the word control, but we'll use it temporarily. Basically, I have agency. I have sovereignty of, once I become aware of something. Oh, let's say when I talk with my sister, I tend to get really emotional, and it might be perceived as something rude from her. But if that's not true and I receive feedback, she tells me, oh, you tend to raise your voice at me when you're talking about something. So then I become aware, right? Feedback, receiving feedback, listening, receiving feedback, being open to it. So that's, in a way, communication and relationship skills, just being receptive and also having discernment. So that's another whole series of videos. But just for me, usually just keeping an open mind, being receptive of other people's feedback, knowing that I have blind spots, as well as applying discernment when feedback is being provided. And then when I can listen properly and really receive another person's message, they all flow into the greater awareness that I possess as a human being and as a spiritual being. And so all of our human senses and all the information we receive from our human senses just goes into our awareness, the bigger awareness that does a whole lot more. And because I can be aware of this feedback and aware of all my past experiences and how it's relevant to this feedback, and I can be aware of other tendencies that I'm aware of at the moment, then I can make adjustments or alignment to a more true version of me, right? That is in alignment to the feedback that I agree with and I resonate with, and that, oh, this is a blind spot. So I'm aware that I've done it in the past, uh, but someone didn't give me the feedback. And now, how can I make a adjustment or alignment? Okay, the next time I get in a more serious conversation with my sister or someone else, I become more mindful. I become more aware, but it becomes mindful, right? In the moment, focus awareness. So mindful, especially in the situation of when I'm talking with someone and something more serious comes up, or maybe I'm giving feedbacks to someone else, to be more calibrated in my tone and my demeanor, and even I can be direct, but never, and also tune into my heart so that my energy is coming off as providing constructive and loving, supportive feedback versus criticizing it. And so we all have experience, both giving and receiving, loving, constructive, and supportive feedback versus judgmental, non-constructive feedback. So that's more. So then we eventually get to more of a feeling and more of a not a logical space, and not even a conscious space, not just a conscious space, but an entire awareness of the entire interaction beyond just conscious thinking. So yeah, you can feel when someone's being genuine or not. And even at times, you can feel when someone's criticizing you, they're coming from the right place, it's coming from love, but they haven't learned how to properly give feedback in a constructive, supportive, and loving way. And that's not a bad thing. They didn't have the experience or someone to teach them that, oh, when you give feedback, it's usually better and more, and people become more receptive if it's really loving and supportive, and you can do it with tact, right, and authenticity. And so growing up in an Asian family, I'm not saying all Asians, but from my experience, and if you hear some really funny comics, Asian comics, they'll tell you, right, there's a book, right, Tiger Mom, or there are these stereotypes or assumptions of how Asian parents parent, their parenting style. And it's usually a little more direct, a little rough, and it's constructive feedback with very little padding of caring how you feel. Just how it is, just how the last generation was. So we don't have to, I've experienced it from the recipient end. So I would never treat my children or someone I care about and want them to be better and want to teach them or share with them a better way to use that method, right? So just want to bring that up, and now you know a little bit about me and my background. But yeah, so anyway, and it's also fun, so look up either Joe Coy or some really cool East Asian comics, Russell Peters. So that will help kind of integrate these things as well. So for me, I love one of my teacher's friends, his line is spirituality is fun. And so I am in alignment with that. And I just think everything is fun, everything is awesome, and I lighten up everything that has to do with spirituality, everything that has to do in this world and life. Yet I also want to communicate it with a direct and authentic way that, yes, as humans, we get to experience some serious stuff, some painful things, and some suffering. Yet, as we walk this path, sometimes those moments, I can say, some of the times that I've experienced that were very painful and uncomfortable, and yes, suffering to a degree, I can look back and kind of just laugh a little bit at it, right? It's out of just love for myself in this moment, the person that can recollect that experience, that moment in time, how it feels right now to feel what I felt before, and also tune into the wisdom that I've cultivated by living the experience, and then by experiencing in the moment the cosmic joke in a way, right? I can sit here in this moment, be super peaceful, have a thought come in, right? A pass where maybe I was depressed or whatever. Still in this moment, feel that person that I was, feel all that I had felt in that moment, and all the thoughts that came in at that moment, experience it right now. But in this moment, like, I'm completely at peace, in a great environment, like a completely different person. How is that not funny? It's like watching a funny movie and like seeing myself being so serious in that moment. But now that I've lived through it, it's out of love that I can still feel the pain, right? And then tears might be coming through my eyes, still feel the pain, but also laugh because there's joy in having experienced it. And then in the moment, it's kind of like the mind can't comprehend it in any way possible. But there's a deeper knowing or soul connection, or connection with the greater whole, and be like, wow, we made it. We're in this moment. We can fully experience that moment right here, right now. But it's so much lighter now. It's just a feather that I'm holding in my hand right now. And once this passes, I let the feather go, and it'll fly back to God and fly back to Source, and I move on with my life. I don't have to hold on to it. So, yeah, a lot of things that I cover, we'll break them down into bits and pieces and themes and cover them later. But a lot of my channelings and what I share is just what comes through for me. And it's not really the words that I'm sharing with you. Part of it, and you might know from all the videos and all the interactions you might have, and if not, please, after this video, take a couple moments to contemplate. When you have an interaction with someone, or you're watching a video, whatever, or you're in the presence of a great teacher or guru, and if they say something, what they say, you're receiving maybe 10 to 15%, and this is backed up by science, or they have different numbers, but backed up in science, and overall the essence of the concept, or what's coming through. We only pick up 10% of the words. We pick up maybe 60% from body language and maybe the energy in that person's field, and then the rest is you're receiving it through non-physical, beyond our physical senses, right? It's pure energy. It's not just the body language or whatever. It's just pure energy looking into someone's eyes. You're already sharing energies with them. And so, yeah, there's a whole lot that are physical, and how we communicate physically it plays a part. It it's part of the puzzle, but it's only 20% of the puzzle. 10 to 15% with our words, let's say 60% with our body language, and then so that leaves maybe the rest, like 20 to 30%, right? That's energetic. So yeah, so become aware of that. And so when we learn, when we pick up knowledge, we also unintentionally pick up other people's beliefs, and through those beliefs we pick up their traumatic experiences or their really empowering experiences. So that's a whole deeper story, and that's why on the path of self-discovery, self-love, self-realization, it must come with discernment, how we can distinguish what to take in and what to leave behind. So resonance is really important. So yeah, so we covered a lot today, but the key theme is be gentle on yourself about New Year resolution, goals that you set and plans you set, and maybe do it anew, but now do it from the intention of, I'm not going to do it perfect, I'm not going to have those expectations, but I do my best, and I pat myself on the back or celebrate every win I have, as well as set goals and resolutions that are aligned to you making progress, imperfect progress. Cover perfection, relationships, and how to let go of cultivating or developing perfect relationships, but just do your best, and use your heart to do it. We'll cover it in another topic. And so there's a lot of inner systems at work when dealing with a lot of things, right? We can say one theme, we can say New Year's resolution, right? An idea or practice that we do, but a whole lot of back end, a lot of internal stuff ties in. We can say perfectionism, yeah, one theme, but a lot of back end, a lot of internal stuff has to move and has been set up to create that characteristic of perfectionism and so forth. So I know we covered a lot today. Take what resonate, leave the rest. And if you like what I have to share, please like the video, comment on the video, and share with someone that needs to hear what I have to share in this video, as well as the channel. And subscribe to the channel if you're looking forward to some of these topics that I will cover in depth in a longer series, because a lot of topics is like a little rabbit hole, or you can call it an onion. You can keep peeling and it'll get deeper and deeper. But my advice would be, just when it resonates, watch those videos and peel to the depth that works for you, apply it in your life, and then leave the rest. And then later on, when you live your life and you're looking for more solutions, then continue peeling that onion. Anyway, until next time.